G'day, mate.
Hello,
What's
mate.
your name?
My name's Mitch Garling.
Mitch Garling. What do you do, Mitch?
I'm a comedian, writer, director, bit of everything, really.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Crowdworkcast. My name's Andrew Barnett. Thank you very much for joining me. Before I chat about today's guest, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone that came along to my Sydney Comedy Festival shows on the weekend. Really appreciate that people came out. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the show. So, yeah, thank you very much if you did come out. And now I can take a break from plugging those shows, which is a great feeling. Now, today's episode, this is with my guest, Mitch Garling. Now, I met Mitch when he was like a student just on the Central Coast, getting involved in stand-up comedy, and he decided he was going to run some stand-up comedy. So I've known him for a long time. He's a lovely bloke. He has just won the Inner West Film Festival's Best Comedy Short Film Award. So you can check out that film. It's called One Up. There's a link to watch it in the show notes for this. So yeah, definitely have a look at that. Mitch is also a stand-up comedian, so he is doing a show this Thursday and Friday as part of the Sydney Comedy Festival. It's called Big Fat Loser. Yeah, get along and see him. He's very funny stand-up, so you'll enjoy that. Other than that, this was a fantastic chat. If you're enjoying all these podcasts, please do like, subscribe, all that sort of good stuff. If you want to reach out, the best place to reach out to me is probably through my Instagram or Facebook. I'm Andrew Barnett Comedy on both of those. Send me a message. Tell me who you'd like to see on the podcast, and depending where you're listening to this or watching, if you could like, subscribe, leave a review, all that sort of stuff, unless it's going to be a mean review, in which case just keep that to yourself. Other than that, I think we can just crack on with this episode. So enjoy this. This is my chat with Mitch Garling. One of the slashies.
Yeah, well, I've never thought about it like that, but I am a slashie. I'm a slashie, absolutely a slashie.
Yeah, so you and I met through comedy.
Yes.
Many years ago now.
Was it
but
2013?
It would have been around then.
2013, something like that?
Yeah, you were running Iron Mike Comedy.
Yeah, that's a bit of a PTSD word, that is.
Oh, really?
No, like I don't know, it just takes you back to a certain time in your life where you go, oh, I remember that when I was young and dumb or whatever. But
yeah, I don't know I wouldn't say you were young and dumb. You were young and motivated.
Thank you. That's so kind.
You know what I mean?
I'll take that. Yeah, look, I think that's I think I booked you for a thing or
on the Central Coast.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, yeah, with Som Chopra.
Oh yeah.
Rest in peace. Passed away, I believe. Matt Reddy.
Matt Reddy.
Bit of Matt Reddy.
Still kicks around a little bit. Does a bit of comedy on the coast.
Still around with he's all bald now and all that jazz. But yeah, no, it's been a while.
It has been a while. So you, I met you through comedy, but most recently, and this is the most exciting thing at the moment, is most recently you are writer-director side of you. You just won the Inner West Film Festival's Best Comedy Film?
Yes, we did, or I did. It was a major work that we put together for uni, because I'm just about to graduate uni, and film that I wrote and directed, and cast some comedian friends, and it's good having people like that where you can be like, I know how to get them to do what I want, if that makes coming from a comedy background or a bit of an acting background myself, I feel like directing is quite, and it comes kind of well to me.
Yeah, and knowing comedians too, you can just go, hey, look, I can't pay you.
Oh yeah, of course.
There's exposure, there's opportunity, and comedians, okay.
And look, we love it. We love that, don't we? We love the exposure. But no, like I cast Sarah Gall and Marcel Blanche de Wilt as the main two in it. Just, as you know, beast comedians. Absolutely amazing.
So what's the film called?
Oh, sorry.
Can people see it anywhere
Yes.
other than at the film festival?
Yes.
So start with the plug, and then I want to know all about how this came about.
I don't know how to do this. So the film is called One Up.
Yep.
Basically, the film is about these siblings whose their parents die. Their parents die. It's very ambiguous. You don't get any kind of explanation as to why or how they've died.
Mm-hmm.
Their parents die, and in the lead up to their parents' funeral, they revert back to their teenage selves and just try and one up each other constantly to see who's the better kid. Right?
I like
Does that
this.
make sense? Like
I
so,
like it because it's a very genuine sort of an instinct. Like it's amazing to me once you're around your family unit, how quickly you can
Revert.
like people just revert back to
so
their
quickly.
sibling role for
I
whatever.
see it with, like, because I'm like, I've got a much older brother, but my wife is one of 6. And it's like, she goes over there and it's like, everyone just reverts back to that, like, it's like, mom, dad, like, the kind of vibe. And you're like, no, that was quick. We went back there real quick. But yeah, basically the premise is like, like these siblings, they're fighting for attention, but there's no attention to be given. Like, that's the tagline.
Oh,
Like,
I like that.
there's no parents. Like, the parents are dead. And it just culminates in these two picking at each other, fighting, and eventually ruining the funeral.
So dead parents is a theme. Did you think of doing it animated like Disney do? Because they love a dead parent.
They do love a dead parent. I don't have the budget. We did actually talk about how it's much easier to convince comedians as it is to convince animators to do it for free.
No, animators value their time.
They do love a dead. Disney love a dead animal though, or a dead parent.
Yeah.
God, they love it.
They rarely do the double dead though.
No, and that's what it's been really funny. Like, people are like, both of them, and I was like, yeah. Like, I want it to be so, like, have they been, I don't know, murdered? Has there been a plane crash? Have they got bodies? Like, anything like that. And it's like, I want it to be so ambiguous that you don't know, that it's almost a secondary thought to the movie.
Yeah.
Like, you just go, oh, they've died.
Which also underscores, I suppose, that theme of the ridiculousness of them trying to one-up each other in that circumstance where the audience are feeling this. Hang about, you haven't resolved this for us.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to do that?
Exactly. And like the first line in the film is actually a voicemail. It's Sarah's character listening to a voicemail from the mum, and it's an old voicemail, being like, if you're coming to Christmas, like, please be cool with your brother. Like, please be good. So I'm already setting up that there's always weird tension between them.
Yeah, nice.
And then when you don't ever meet the mum or the dad, and you just go to this funeral, you're like, what was that thing from before? So you're like, she's listening to the voicemail, like, trying to connect again or something. But yeah, it's been really interesting. It's I don't know. I feel like I write a lot about dead parent stuff. It seems to come well to me, I guess.
Yeah, that's wow. Yeah. What a business
on
card.
account of the dead dad. That's what it was. Yes.
Yeah.
So I think it, like, I don't know. I find, like, and I don't know what you're like, but I find, like, talking about death and that sort of thing is just, people are still so taboo about it.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, it's like how people don't want to clap at a funeral and things like that. You're like, clap, celebrate, have a good, like, enjoy it, you know? So I like writing about that stuff and putting people in awkward situations.
It's an interesting. It's because you've started off the whole film in a corner,
and it seems very straightforward because, like, the brother is picking up the sister, listening to a voicemail being like, hey, make sure you're cool if you come to Christmas. So you assume that that's the brother picking them up to go to Christmas. And then when it's not and it goes to a funeral, it's like, oh, okay, this is interesting.
Nice.
But yeah, so no, it's been good, mate. I'm really enjoying it. Sarah and Marcel are amazing to work with. Those guys are super, super chill. But yeah, we ended up winning that film fest and just got into another 2, which is really cool.
Nice.
And yeah, I don't know how to, I don't know how to talk it up. Like, I feel like I just make the thing and then people go, tell me about it. And I go, that's just a thing. Just, I don't know, can I just show it to you?
Yeah.
Like,
well, which is, I don't know, like, I kind of like that because that is kind of the point of making a film is you don't want to talk about the film. You want people to watch it.
Yeah. And like I do, and it's weird because, like, obviously I'm doing it now. And once I talk about it, I can talk about it. It's very natural. But like, even the other night because you had to go up and do a speech for this thing and they go, oh, what was the things behind it and tell us all about it. And I just ended up being like, I started talking about another film that was in the film festival about how much I liked the other film that was in the film festival. And it's like, shut up, take your dues, like, enjoy it for once.
This is why people in Hollywood get PR people to tell them what to say.
Thank you very much. And do you know what? This was Inner West Film Festival, beautiful film festival. It was really great, and it was where was it? Palace Cinemas, like in
Oh,
Leichhardt.
lovely.
Beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful
great
cinemas,
spot.
right? And I go up in front of 400-ish people from Sydney, and I freak out. Like I don't show it, but compared to what we're like on stage normally, I
Yeah.
was like, holy fuck. So now I can totally relate to like the people that cry at the Oscars and stuff, where you're like, yeah, cry. That must be so fucking overwhelming. Like,
Well, I think too that audience, like as opposed to like your regular comedy audience, your regular comedy audience are there. It's an unassuming sort of a thing in that they're there. They just want to have a laugh
yeah,
or whatever.
yeah,
An audience that have gone to a film is one thing. They might just be going for entertainment. But an audience that have gone to a film at a film festival where there is judging are there to.
they've probably got,
There is an element of judging up.
yeah, they've got a thing. They've got things probably to say themselves. You know, they thought like if you've gone to a film festival, you probably have some sort of interest in film. You would think, and then the other side of it is like the people that have come to support other films, who also don't want to like big up your film.
Yeah.
Who like, you know, X person makes this film and everybody claps super loud, and you're like, oh, wasn't that good though? But
Yeah, we all did comedy competitions though where it was bringers.
Yes, we did. Yeah,
Audience vote.
And did we still were super happy when we won, even
Yeah.
though
Oh yeah.
19 out of the 20 were our friends, and fuck, you'd hope you'd win.
God, I wish I'd had that many friends. It took me so long to win Comedy Court.
Yeah, no, I the first time I ever did it, I brought like 5 or 6, I think, and got like mad love, and was like, great, that's so good. But it's like, you don't, I don't know, it doesn't give you that much confidence, I guess.
No.
Like, you know, I did okay in front of 5 or 6 people that know me really well, and then some other people.
There is something much more validating in entertaining strangers in some way.
Yeah.
Because if they've gone in with no expectation or no knowledge of who you are or whatever.
Exactly. Nothing. Yeah, exactly. And going like, this is a thought I've had. Have this thought, and for them to have no connection to you as a person or whatever, and to go, I relate to that thought. Yeah, that's sick.
It's funny. We were talking like this thought on the expectations people have going in and that sort of stuff. Is I realised when I did a bunch of gigs with Jim Owen just before like the end of last year and the start of this year, and I realised going out there, for me, I was basically performing to no expectation. The audience were, we don't know, we weren't expecting you, we don't know why you're here.
Yeah.
But his audience are good, like in that they will listen. I've opened for people audiences, and to their like no fault of the audience, just they're not there for you.
Exactly.
They don't particularly care.
Yep.
But his audience, like, yeah, well, let's have a laugh.
If Jamoan's put him on, he must have something.
Yeah.
Like that kind of vibe.
And so, or they just, we'll give him a chance.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I was going up there against no expectation. But then I realised Jim Owen had to follow 30 years of Jim Owen expectation.
Yes.
And that level of expectation, because the amount of times I've had people come to a show or whatever and say, oh, we'll come see you again. We were at this show. And my first instinct is all I can do is disappoint this person.
Yeah. I'm worried that, like, I do it all the time where I go, have I done these bits in this festival show before? Are they going to come along and be like, oh, I heard that one bit in the festival show last year? And it's like, what about all the other stuff? All the shit that was all new.
Yeah.
But because you figured out that one of your older bits actually ties in really well to that newer bit, you're like, well, of course I'm going to put it in.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to go, it's not going to be the whole show. But it's like, there might be some
But
repeat.
it actually makes the show better.
Yeah, exactly. But then, your brain goes like, oh, we'll let them down.
Yeah.
We'll let them down big time.
It's a funny dynamic of that creative thing where you don't want to, like, you never feel finished.
No.
So with the film, do you feel like now, okay, this is your starting point, got your foot in the door?
Look, I hope so. That's the second short film that I've directed in the last couple of years. The other one got a bit of love, I guess, on that one as well. Like, it was quite, well liked of people that saw it. Also about a dead parent. This is kind of, this is what I
Mitch Garling, he's the dead parent guy.
Yeah, I'm the dead. But I don't know. I'm the number one thing that I've been getting from this film. People said it the other night. Like, my family have said it. Other people that have watched the film have said that they weren't done with those characters.
Okay.
They would have liked to have had more. Like it felt like a pilot for an episode of something, like a series. And so I've just kind of been banking that in my head, being like, okay, maybe that's the proof of concept
Yeah.
or the pilot for
something
series
yeah.
of these two, just dealing with life, which I don't know, the potential of doing that, it sounds really fun because like I loved filming it and filming with these guys. But yeah, I hope it's something that kind of opens doors. Like winning the festival is great. Like just having that at all, and the people I got to meet the other night was amazing. But you never know, do you?
But you also want you want well, the process is fun and getting it all done. But then if that can help you get you the money or whatever to do it again and again and again and again.
And I mean, that's what I studied. That's what I like doing. It would make sense to do that.
So the degree you're doing, you almost graduated, is in...
Yeah, media and communications, double major with public relations. That's not good. I can't say that. And screen practice and production, which is just like film, TV stuff. And yeah, look, I've really enjoyed it. Like we've put together a lot of good works and gotten a lot of good experience. And like I just edited some things for SBS and NITV and stuff like that through uni. Like uni kind of helped me get that. Again, all add it to the reel, add it to the resume. But yeah, fingers crossed, man, because I don't know. I feel like after COVID and I decided to go back to uni, where you just like, we lost everything in terms of like acting gigs. And I was like, I need some like real paper behind me so that if anything happens again, I can maybe continue working.
Yeah, I think you strike me as someone who will always be all right in the sense that you've always been... One thing I admired from you, even when I first met you, like when you like brand new, is you tended to just make things yourself. Like you didn't sit around waiting for... Even with with Iron Mike comedy, you were like, okay, let's get into comedy. Let's start.
Yeah. There was no comedy on the Central Coast, like apart from your Arj Barkers and Akmals and Jim Owens when they come and do the Leagues Club.
But nowhere you could breastfeed.
But and I mean, wonder when we're recording. But yeah, oh God, what a day.
Yeah.
But thank you. I appreciate that. That's a very nice compliment that I just kind of, took control or did my own thing. I just kind of went like, there's nothing here. Like, I love comedy, grew up watching comedy, all that sort of stuff. I was like, there's nothing here. Like, let's just make something. Made something, and I don't know, it kind of got me into comedy, and then now we're here.
Yeah.
It's a weird, like, kind of, it must have been about 10 years ago, or 11 years ago.
And comedy's the perfect creative form for that. Like, when people say, how do you get into comedy? Yeah. Realistically, the only way is to start.
Exactly, and it's just hit those open mics, or, it is just that, hit those open mics. And looking back at the 18-year-old version of me who was going, I'd love to do comedy one day. I wonder how I get there. Like, I wish I could just go back to 18-year-old me and go to an open mic and just
start.
And just do it.
Yeah.
And it's like, you look at people like Elliot Stewart in Newcastle, who started at 17, 18 because...
I know, isn't it infuriating?
Infuriating. And he's a bloody wonderful comic and a lovely guy.
I know.
But I hate him greatly. But yeah, it's like, I mean, I guess maybe things were different. It was much easier to find like how to just get started when he's getting started.
I think that there is an element of that now, that in comedies, I think much more. And look, to be honest, it's hard to tell because living in it, in the world, it feels much more visible and much more present in general life. Yeah. But I don't know how much of that is just our perspective because we're engrossed in it every day. Or how much of it's a bit more not mainstream, but it's a bit more known than it possibly was.
It's truly kind of not baffling, but the amount of times that I'll see like a chalkboard sign at a pub that says comedy here, comedy here, comedy, and I go, like, am I just noticing that because I'm a comic? And my brain goes, oh, that could be a gig. Like,
is that... Be honest, your brain goes, who books that?
Oh, who books that? Yeah, that could be an opportunity for 7 minutes of silence.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
I
need that
There might be
today.
$100 in
Yeah.
this.
Oh, man, if you're lucky. But yeah, it's like, was I just missing that
Yeah.
back in the day? Like, because I wasn't, or we weren't engrossed in it, was I just not noticing the chalkboards or the signs or the ads or whatever? And now it's like, it's all I see. And you're like, is it more visual? I don't know. It's, yeah.
It's hard to know. So how does that, so with comedy, obviously there's, and because you and I have been through that process, we both know now, it is just a case of you just got to start.
Yeah.
You got to start, you
Yeah.
got to rip in, you got to,
Just do it.
just do it. How does that, like, making a film is obviously a bit more complicated, because the good thing about comedy is you can just do it because you write something,
Yeah.
you have a thought, you go up, you say it into a microphone.
Yeah.
Not as simple a process, the film thing.
No. Certainly, but there's extra little things you don't think about. Like with comedy, you and I think of something and we go up and we go, let's see if this has legs, and you workshop it. Like with a script, it's like you've got to convince so many people to come on board, even just at the initial point. Like with comedy, it's like I can just do it, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But with a film, it's like, please give me your time, or even read this script. Like, I think One Up was like 12 pages or something, which is not that long. But if I sent that to someone and said, can you just read this? Like, I know if someone sent me a 12-page script, I'd look at it and go, fuck, 12, okay.
Yeah, exactly, because it's 12-page script, but that relates to, that's, say you're reading at a good pace, 1 minute a page.
Yep. And that's also, it's not reading it and going, I liked it, and that's the end of conversation.
Yeah, it's thinking about
having to go back to them and go, here's what I liked, here's what I didn't, here's what I think you should do, yada yada. So it's like, it's a burden, if you will. But there is a lot more to it, obviously, and then there's the things you don't think about. Like, things can go wrong so majorly, and your whole day's ruined. Like on One Up, we did like location scouting for this church, and then we used the car park outside the church for the car park scenes when they arrive at the funeral. Great, this is perfect. And then the day we get there to shoot, the TAFE next door is having their roof redone.
Oh.
And it's just and you're just like, fuck. So like,
I thought you were going to say Sarah couldn't stop staring at the
Sarah
tradies
couldn't
with their
stop
tops off.
looking at them. Sarah Gall is, she's reputation anyway. But no, and maybe she was. That could have certainly limited our time shooting. But just and you're like, go shoot, film, and you just hope to God. Like there's one scene where you can hear it in the background, and it's just like it's fucking horror, and you're like,
see, you can hear it. Would an audience? Do you think the audience, your average audience member, notices it? You'd hope they're engrossed enough in the.
And that's because there's a scene where Marcel gets out of the car, and as he gets out of the car is when his auntie goes to open the door for him. So he smacks her with the car door and like knocks her down or out or whatever. And the scene straight after that is the scene where you can hear it. So I'm like, all right, I'm really banking on the fact that everybody's either still laughing at Marcel just messing up his auntie, or being like, oh my God, is she all right? Instead of focusing on like,
they're reacting.
The sound?
They're reacting to what just happened rather than listening for tradies.
Listening to fucking write down notes to yell at me about. But no, and there's little things like that. But you've got so many other people as well. Like, because we did it for uni, it was our major work. So each of us was being marked on something different. I'm being marked on directing, another guy on cinematography, another guy on sound, this. And then you're like, we've all got to be on the same page. Like another film I did, like I wanted it to be super solemn, like in a hospital waiting room, while this guy like calls his family and says that someone's died. And the cinematographer was like, all right, we'll get a shot, comes up like this and like that. And then you're like, dude, it's not a bank heist. Like, he's not robbing a bank. We need like chill camera movements.
Stillness.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, okay, I just think this would be better. So you got to, I don't know, comedy, I have an idea, I get up, I say it, audience goes, yes, no, done.
That's the other thing too, is I think in going through that process of like asking someone to read a script, asking someone to buy into your idea.
Yes.
is like the thing with comedy is you have the idea, you go up in front of a group, the audience either approve it there or they don't, but also the advantage you get. I've been thinking about this more and more. Is it's important to listen to the audience, but I think it's important to listen to them as a group rather than as individuals.
Yeah, and I mean I think that's probably our biggest downfall as comics is like you can have a room who are really enjoying your stuff, and then you find old mate who has his arms crossed.
Yeah,
and you look at him the whole time and go, "Fuck, I bombed," and you're like, "They liked you."
Yeah,
like that one guy just maybe that's how he enjoys things. You don't know.
And that's not even like to the point where you get the people come up to you after a gig that'll give you advice about what it is, and you're just like, oh, like someone come, oh, you know what jokes you need to do? You need to be more like this. You need to be like you need, and you realise that no, this is
They've actually got no idea what
the wisdom exists within the group
Yes.
rather than in the individual.
in the individual. It's coming up to you and saying like in 2024, coming up and going like, "Have you seen Kevin Bloody Wilson?" And you're like,
Have I
"Oh
ever?
yeah, I have, yeah." And he's like, "So what's funny about him?" And you go, "Okay, like, all right, now I understand why you weren't laughing at my stuff."
Yeah,
because you're wanting
something different, which is perfectly
which
valid
is
for you
also
to want.
fine.
But
you don't want me going, "Oh, I've got a young daughter."
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. There's very much that. So that process of like having your idea rely on, because I'm guessing you're not sending it to a room full of people to read your script and get together as a group. You're sending it to individuals to say, "Hey, can you have a look at this?" And
So there was a couple that I'd send it to, but then because it was our uni major work, we had to send it to like the teachers and stuff, and I think then you kind of also realise where people have different interests or different takes or what they like, where people would give you feedback, and some of the stuff that had what's the word I'm looking for? Some of the stuff that had the most critical feedback from my teachers has now been some of the stuff that has got the best reactions of the actual film. And you're like, you couldn't see what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But like I had one teacher who said like, "And why do you think you're the man to make a comedy?" And then like someone in my class was like, "Mitch is a comedian." And he's like, "Are you?" And I was like, yeah, like I don't like make it openly known.
Yeah.
Mitch is a comedian. He goes, oh yeah, you'll probably be fine then. Like you'll get it. And you're like, 2 seconds ago you were literally being like, and like a film critic, like, "And why are you the person for this story?"
Like, I got to be honest. That's how I picture all your film lectures are, just like inside the actor's studio, and
with people who are teachers in Sydney, Australia, as opposed to, like, do you know what I mean? Like, where you go, if you were a big dog, I don't think you'd be here. And I'm like, I appreciate all the support over the years, but like you didn't like. It's already case in point. Like you didn't get what I was trying to do.
Well, there's also an element where yes, there's a functionality that they can teach you, but at a certain point, with something like a film, there's an element of it that is function. That's the camera like, is it all doing? Does it make sense?
Yes.
As a piece.
Yeah.
But then there's also the part that is the creative or the art side of it, which is what is it saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the bit that's down to what is it saying is down to sort of probably conjecture.
Yeah. Yep.
Whereas is like if they know what you're trying to say and then they're seeing the way you've executed all of it and putting those theories in, that's the bit you can critique.
Like, yeah, exactly.
It's like, I don't think you should have used the big sweeping drone shot for an intimate conversation between.
Like,
that's
exactly.
That's
exactly. I get that. Like I thought, is it? Oh, sorry. I thought I knocked it off. Yeah, and it's like this is coming from film teachers who are going on about how Paris, Texas is the most beautiful movie of all time, blah blah blah, and then you go, I just want to make this really simple little Aussie thing. I want it to be Aussie without it being, "G'day mate, bloody like stereotypes.
Yep.
I want it to be very like if you watch it, you go, that was an Aussie film. Like apart from the accents, obviously, but I'm also not your. I'm not. Sorry, you're not my target either.
Yes.
Like snooty film students. Like, I just want to make a relatable film, and I think that's. I don't know. I guess we've done it. We've won one festival. I'm not saying like we're
But-
off we go, but we won one festival. So obviously someone related.
And if you can look at it and you can sit with a group of people and see that they're reacting the way you thought and hoped they'd react,
Yeah.
they're getting the things out of it that you wanted them to get out of it. Then,
Yes.
Then it means it's translating.
I think into like, and like that feeling from stand up as well, where when you have that idea and then you see the reaction and you go, "Fuck, that makes me feel so good." So then in something that you do in film as well, where it's like you actually have no say in like once it's shot and filmed, like it's done. You can't like you can edit it obviously, you can go back and do reshoots, but it's done. So you gotta want to hope that people relate. Like with a joke, if it doesn't work, you kind of rejig it or whatever. But with the film, you go, "This is the final product. This is it." Like, hope you guys like it.
That's How did you find that process? Because there's so many things, like you said, it's much more complicated process to get your to get it out there as opposed to just standing on stage sharing your thoughts.
Yeah.
Like there's so many points where something can go wrong. And even when you were shooting, did you know, like, that thing of, I think we got it? Did you know for sure you got what you wanted? Could you see it all in your head? Or
I could see it. And I think because of Sarah and Marcel as well, I was like, they're giving it to me. Like they are really, because we had, a bunch of meetings beforehand, like just Zoom things and go like this. I'm like, this is what I need you guys to kind of do. And then you're seeing it on the day and you're like, brilliant. Like that's the exact vibe, just this nitpicky sibling bullshit.
Yep.
But then you've got the light changing or the, your wife coming home from work with the kid. And because we've shot a lot of it in my front yard, like, so then my daughter's running around outside, out the back and stuff. And there's like one scene where you can hear her in the background being like, "Mommy," like it's so distant, but
you're there like, I said quiet on set.
Yeah, she doesn't know the rules, but she'll learn.
She calls you dad, not director.
Sir.
So disrespectful.
Sir. Yeah, gross. But yeah, you're just waiting for the next thing to go wrong.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't go wrong, you go, yeah, but that was just today. We have 2 more days of shooting. And then granted, you get somewhere and the fucking TAFE's getting their roof redone.
That's fantastic.
Or whatever. And you go, oh, all right. Okay, that's what or like the film we did 2 years ago, we were about to order lunch for everyone. And we decided at the last minute, let's actually just go to Macquarie Shops because it's close. And when we went to Macquarie Shops, I had the 2 actors in my car and the gear cable snapped of my car, like the gear selector cable. So I'm sitting in Macquarie Shops halfway up a ramp with no car that can go, like it can't change gears. I've got people behind me. I've got the 2 actors in the car. I'm director.
That's fantastic.
And then I just have to ring the producer and be like, I'm not going anywhere. Like, you need to come and pick these guys up. And like, they ended up filming the rest of it with me being like, yep, that's good. Like on the phone.
Oh,
being
wow.
Like, yep, that was a good shot. That's great. Whatever. But I'm like, I just put my trust in you back on set. If you try anything, just let me know. But then I just sit in Macquarie Shops, just waiting, being like,
waiting for the NRMA.
Yeah. And you're like, all right, there, it went wrong. There it is. There it is, as usual. But no, it's, it's rewarding though. Like when it doesn't go wrong and everything goes right, and then you watch the film and you're happy with the film, show it to people. Like big screen stuff is like, so, yeah, like, you grow up watching movies.
Yeah.
So when you see something you've made on a screen, regardless of if it's a film festival or something at uni or whatever, you go, I've done that. I did that. That feels fucking great.
That's cool. When you watch it, are you at the point where you can watch it as the story that you're presenting, or do you still see it as the assembly?
There's an element of the assembly because like my editor was very, very good. I didn't edit it, but he would send me regular updates, and like I'd be like, this out, you know, chop this, trim this, blah blah blah. So there's still an element of like it's mechanical.
Yep.
In my head, I go, here comes this shot, like, but I think the biggest thing I do is I go, or last screening, or last time I showed this to like my wife's family, this bit got a big laugh, and then I go, here it comes again, and I just wait, and I'm like watching everybody else, and then it gets a laugh, and you're like, great, like, just fucking watch it, like, be in the moment. But
now that's interesting. Do you find that the audience laugh in the exact same, like, is it predictable the way they laugh, how they like, how intense the laugh is in all the same places, or do different audiences hit? Because you know, like in stand up, you might do the same routine over a bunch of different audiences, and there's always differences in how they're reacting.
And you just go like, what was the main difference here? Like, you know,
whereas there is functional differences for us, I suppose, where when you're performing, like, you naturally your energy might be different.
Your energy,
or whatever.
like even like where it is, obviously. Like if you're doing something high energy in Newcastle and then come and do the same thing like in the city, maybe it might not be as like, I don't know, maybe too reference heavy or something, like, you know. The end of the film, I won't ruin it, but the end of the film gets a bit of like a kind of reaction. And when
you find out it was all a dream.
Oh man, I'd actually hate myself.
The ultimate student film.
Oh my God. Yeah, starts on, what's the cliche where it's like, the first shot will always be an alarm clock going off.
Yeah.
You're like, that's a student film. That's how you know it's a student film. And then in the end, it was like, and it was all the dream. And it's like, credits come up with like red writing or some shit. And you're like, what a douche. The ending gets this like kind of reaction. And at the uni screening, much younger audience, obviously. Like, and it was our whole cohort.
Lot less dead parents.
Not relatable. They had a lot of parents there. Had a lot of parents. They couldn't relate. I was one of the only ones. Again, circling back.
But it's almost too, I think, for that sort of content, if you're, you know, just probably, you know, for some of them, they'd still be living with their parents.
Yep.
So they probably they're not getting the move out, become someone else,
Revert
regress.
back. Yep. So they're just kind of going like, oh, these are just siblings. Like, they're just fighting. And it's like, they haven't had that life experience.
They don't have the same context for
it. Yes. And then of course, like, they don't know how you would act in that moment of like losing both parents. Like if they haven't lost a parent, like I think you don't know how you'd act. Like I remember when Dad died, like I just have these you'd have these moments where you just laugh and you're like, why am I laughing? Like, it's fucking great. Like you'd see something, you'd be like, oh fuck. Like, and you're like, I'm just letting emotion or noise out of my body. That's all it is. But it's like these kids wouldn't understand that. Like,
well, it's all laughter ever is a release of tension of some kind. So that you know, that might be a mournful tension that you have to let out, but it's got to get out.
Any time growing up, when your mum or someone would say, "Did you do this?" and you go, "No." You go, what? And she goes, "Why are you laughing?" And you go, "I'm laughing. I'm just letting."
Just thought of something funny that happened.
You're like, "I'm just trying to let I'm and I still do it with Lou, like, and it's like she'll go like, "You do," and I go, "No." She goes, "You did do that." You go, "No, I didn't." Like, you're like, "I'm just letting fucking tension out."
Yeah.
But I forget what the question was. I apologize. But
no, the reaction of the uni crowds, like, is it?
Yes, much younger, and then obviously the Inner West Film Fest, a bit of an older, not older, but like older than uni crowd,
and film savvy, probably.
Exactly. So it was a real the kids were really shocked. These guys were like, oh, like it was like of course it came to this.
Oh, I like it.
Yes. Oh, yes, good choice.
Yeah, they're appreciating.
You could almost hear good choice.
They're appreciating the trick. Of it all.
But yeah, so again, it's just that thing of like, you're not going to be relatable to everyone, but it's like as a core group, like they seem to like it, so
Well,
I'm happy.
There's also there's it doesn't need to really resonate 100% the way you see it with everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
But it will connect with some people like that. But if the rest of them are entertained,
Yeah, it's still
job done.
Yeah. That's it. And I don't need, I didn't make it to be a comment on losing your parents or anything. I made it because I like making things that, I don't know, make you think, like in weird situations. Like I don't know, like I've just had this idea in the last couple of days about doing a short film about, like, based around a will reading, and that they find out
You
that
are obsessed with death,
death, I
aren't you?
can't stop it,
You
can I?
are.
It's all just death. But just the idea of setting it around a will reading, and that the mum hasn't left them a traditional will. She's left them a treasure map.
I was thinking like they had to stay a night in a haunted house.
See, that's what I would love that. But again, student film. It's not what-
That's a great episode of Scooby Doo.
Yeah. Oh, and it was the the manor, the groundskeeper the whole time.
And he would have got away
Yeah, you
with it
filthy
if it wasn't for you
meddling
meddling kids.
But yeah, I was like, I love the idea of like putting something, I don't know, having a serious topic in a humorish world.
And that's a fun way. Like that sort of, I got to say that appeals to my sense of humor too. And that's probably what your good explanation of your point of view is. You didn't create it to send a message. You created it to create humor in a.
That's it. Like you think about big influence was Death at a Funeral. Have you seen Death at a Funeral? Like, it's so serious, but it's so funny. Like everything, like it's where things shouldn't be funny, or we're told shouldn't be funny, and you're like, this is, someone showing up and saying they were having an affair with their dad the whole time, and this, and people are doing drugs, and this is that, and you go, this is all things that shouldn't be happening at a funeral, but I'm glad that it is, because I don't know, it's just like in different situations.
But that's why when you're in those situations, in those serious situations, the best laugh is that tension breaker laugh, like in real life. Like we've all been at like a funeral or something like that, where someone just has a cracking, and it just level. You'll never level better than a good joke in a eulogy.
Ever. And yeah, it's
maybe that could be your shtick.
That I do.
Yeah, maybe that's a good corporate comedian thing.
Eulogies for people.
Comedy eulogies.
Well,
like roast battles would be.
Yeah.
Imagine doing like instead of the roast of whoever. It is the funeral of
the funeral, the proper. It's like that. The Secrets guy. Have you heard of The Secrets?
No.
It's a guy that you can pay, and he'll rock up to your funeral and tell all your secrets at the funeral.
Wow.
Like, I can't remember his name, but it'll be like, or he'll, say someone passes away, rock up and say, hey, I know, he knew that you cheated on him back in '85. But he never told you. Like, he just swallowed it. And
I don't know where the satisfaction in that is for the...
For the person that's dead, there's no satisfaction, obviously. But for the, I don't know, there's probably some satisfaction in some of the things the guy gets to say. But
yeah, it's just like, I will be a cat amongst pigeons.
But you are ruining an already horrible day.
Oh man, that is...
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but I'll look it up. But yeah, it's funny.
That's some vindictive shit. Like, if you're hiring a guy...
posthumously.
I don't know if I respect that.
As a business?
No, as a client.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you've really got these issues...
Take him to the grave.
Or
bring him up.
Bring him up.
Like an adult.
There's your choice. Don't hire some bloke to have the difficult conversation afterwards.
Show my maturity levels there. Take it to the grave. It's like, no, bring it up like an adult. Oh, that's right. That's an option.
But, it's your choice.
Yeah.
You either never mention it.
Don't.
Or you have the stones to actually bring it all up and deal with it in life. Posthumously
is a bit of a cop-out.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny. Like, it's funny as a premise.
It's funny as a concept.
It's a thing. But, like, when you think about it, it's like mum or kids or whoever have lost dad, and then they're already dealing with that. How do we go on with life? And then it's like, oh, by the way, You know, Dad actually lost all the money gambling.
You see that happen, and I knew we shouldn't have hired vindictive ladies' funerals.
Yeah, that's it. We should have stuck with White Lady. They're not they're number one for a reason. So, yeah, it's I can't remember who it is, but I'll look it up. It's a good laugh. It's a good laugh.
Yeah, that's amazing. It shows that people can really just. People will never stop surprising you of how.
No, of how, like he won't listen to this, so I don't really care. But like I can remember because that was the whole premise of my first film, was that when I called my uncle to say that Dad had died.
Oh, he's a big fan of this.
Oh well, can you come to some of my shows? That'd be great. When I called him to say that Dad had died, this is like his little brother, like, you know, grew up together, best mates, whatever. He goes, "Oh, that's no good, is it?" And I went, "No." And he goes, "All right, I better go." And he just hung up. And I went, "Oh, okay." And I try to rationalize it, being like, maybe that's just how he dealt with it. Like, he didn't want to hear that. And he went, "All right, put on a brave face." I'm, that 70-year-old man thing of like, "All right, fair enough. Yep, good.
But because your dad wasn't, like, your dad, when he passed away, wasn't old.
Yeah, 68.
Yeah, which
68.
is too young.
Yes. Yeah, 68. So he would have been 70, my uncle. And it's like, you can just, like, I don't know, you don't need to be that 70-year-old man. You can just be like, you can talk about things.
Or you can, it's all right not to. See, this is the thing. Like, I'm big into, yes, it's all right for everyone to deal with things in their own way, but we also live as part of a society and part of a community. And he's not the only person on that phone call.
Yep.
Also, the son of his younger brother is on that phone call, who may actually need some
who now 7 years later is bringing it up again.
Yeah, because it didn't bother him.
It didn't make a short film about it. Didn't affect him in any way. To bring it up again, but yeah, no, it's, I don't know. Like you try to fucking be like, he heard the news, he didn't like it, he probably shut down and went, no good. Yeah. All right. So I try to think that's what it is, but then the other part of me wants, like, I don't know. Then also, like, I called people and they were like, "What a brilliant man he was," and I'd be like, "Okay, shut up." Like, I'm trying to, like, you can't win, man. Like,
there's honestly no good thing to say to someone in those circumstances. I don't know that there is, but have a swing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or just, mate, that's horrible news. How are you?
Yeah. Well, that's what my other uncle was like, incredibly good. Was just like, what a good guy he was. Are you all right? I'll see you later. And you're like, done. That was the 3 points.
Yeah.
There you go.
Mate, I'm going to miss him.
Yeah. Are you all right? Yep. Good. Sweet.
That's
like,
yeah.
But no, I again, those moments that you don't think about because I feel like for people that haven't lost a parent, whatever, that, like, any kind of close person to you, friend, whatever, that phone call to tell other people, like, you realize that you're the one that has to break this thing, and it's like it weighs on you pretty heavily. But I love that moment. Like, I want to make reference to that. Like, that's why I like making short films about the moment that you don't think about, or the things you don't think about.
That's the thing that strikes me about that, having recent one of my good mates just lost his father very recently, and the thing that I think is exhausting whenever you've got bad news that needs to be told to a lot of people, the exhaustion of having that conversation over and over again, because you can't have it and not be emotionally invested in the conversation. No. Except if you got one good uncle who just says, "All right, that's no good."
"No, you're all right."
Yeah.
Then you move on.
But do you know what I mean? Like, there is an exhaustion to that, even just the functionality of, in those situations when someone passes away.
Yeah.
Like, up until a certain age, you never think about, okay, here's the logistics. What happens now?
Who do I? Yeah. And you would be so surprised at how many you make the wrong call. Like, I didn't call this person, and people go, "Why didn't you call me?" And you go, "Fuck, I don't know. I had I made 12 other calls.
Yeah.
Like in an hour. Like, sorry, I forgot about you.
I,
But then you're like, oh, now that person's pissed off at me because I didn't call them. And you're like, oh, this ranks so low
yeah.
on my care factor right now. But then it starts to weigh up and you're like,
Why didn't you call me? Oh, sorry, mate. I had a bit on. My dad had just died.
yeah, on account of Dad going to heaven.
Yeah.
I was thinking about something else, actually,
I had a bit on the plate.
at that moment. It's weird though. Like, and again, there's those moments where you, like, because we left the hospital and then you just kind of look and you're like, lunch? Like,
Well, that's the other
that's
thing.
the joke, is like, you go, do we just go back to normal life now?
There's a banality to all of it, like you said, with how while there is a taboo, it is such just an inevitable part of life that there is that banality of when all the when all the urgency of the moment's done.
Yeah.
Then there are things that just you still need to do. Like, okay, we need to get something to eat, and then we need to work out.
We went down to the cafeteria in the hospital just for Mum to get a coffee, and we ran into one of my mates' dads from high school, and he said, "How's Bob? Is he all right?" And I was like, "Oh, he's taken a bit of a turn." Like, and he was like, "What?" Like, and I just had to make a joke out of it. Like, I was like, "Oh, he actually just passed," but I was like, "He's just taken a turn." Like, and then like I think I said to Lou, like I was like, "Probably the worst turn you can take. He's actually just taken it."
Yeah.
But you're like, I need to make a joke, but also you go back to life. Like, he was just, I don't know what he was doing there, but you're like, this is just normal life now. Like, we're just getting a coffee, we're getting lunch.
And it's back to that tension release of like,
Let it out.
let it out.
Let it out before I explode in someone, like, I don't know, something dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's there. You're not wrong though in terms of like it's an interesting space to explore, and especially to try and find comedy and lighter moments in that, because it is like it's an incredibly dark part of life because we don't want to confront it.
No.
Confronting your own mortalities, and it's terrifying.
Yeah.
But it's something that needs to be done, and if you like any hard thing that can be done with good humor is much better.
Well, yeah, that's, I think, I don't know, has it prepared me for death? I don't know, but like, I'm very open talking about it and making films about it and putting, I don't know, like I said, I'm still like, my next film will be about death again. You're like, it's all this guy knows. Like, but I don't know. It's a fun space.
Yeah, I reckon there will be a point, because you've also your life's not just about that though.
No.
Like you've married, you've got a daughter, you've got another one on the way.
Yeah, very exciting.
So yeah, life's about to get even busier. Another little girl.
Yeah, girl gang, little girl gang, girl dad. But
Mate, you'll be going to dancing at Stedford's your whole life.
I have already started, and it's
well, your wife was a dancing instructor.
She's a dance teacher. She's got a dance school, and so my daughter is and also, it's a free activity because we own the dance school.
Yeah, don't tell the other parents it's a free activity, Mitch. That's not how your business works, mate.
It's and it's very lucrative. It's very hard to get in.
And very expensive.
Very expensive.
But worth it. My God, is it worth it?
But thank you for paying anyway. But no, you get a free activity, whatever. But she goes all the time and is obsessed. And the dance stuff is like the dance at Stedford's or the dance concerts and the makeup and the this and the that. And it's so cute. Like, it makes me, I don't know, kind of girly. Like, I really like it. Like, I just think it's really cute. Yes. And it's like, it just gives you a softer side, like, and...
But that's, I don't know, like, someone asked me about that with kids, and I always say it's, especially like young kids, they're the biggest pain in the ass. Yeah. And you'll do stuff for them that you'll happily do that you'd never do for anyone else.
Oh my God.
It's like when they're a baby getting up in the middle of the night because they're crying or whatever. It doesn't feel like the pain in the ass it is, because it's just your kid and what you do.
Exactly. If I made Lou toast in the morning and she turned around and yelled at me because it didn't have crusts on it, or it didn't have the right amount of Vegemite and told me to make new ones.
Or there's triangles instead of squares.
Yes, exactly. You'd
Yep.
be like, you're absolutely lunatic. Like, make your own toast. But my daughter does it, and I go, oh, sorry. Sorry about that. I apologise. Go back and make more. But no, it's exciting. During October, things are getting heated.
Getting real.
Getting real. But it's like I think second one in theory should be easier. But not easier, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, that is the most amazing thing.
Yeah.
I remember though, and this is one of my
More knowing what I'm going to do, sort of.
Okay, there's that. There's two things I'll say to that. One is I remember not having kids and thinking I was busy. And then having one child and then thinking, can't believe I thought I was busy.
Yeah.
And then having a second child and go, can't believe I thought I was busy with one kid.
Yeah.
But that said, the second one in some ways is easier because you've got the context that everything's just a phase.
And it's all, things are, going to end. Yeah. But it's also, like, I can remember, like, not long after my daughter was born, my first daughter, where you like look around your house and you're like, oh, I can't go out. Like, I'm stuck in this house now. Like, because like Lou wasn't confident in going out, and I didn't want to just leave her. And then you're like, well, I guess I just live in this house now. And you're like, I don't know, after a while it goes away and you get comfortable again and you're like, it just goes back to normal life.
With the first one, I remember thinking, like, there was stuff like that. So I guess, I just never get to sleep the whole way through the night again.
I know, yeah.
And then that passes and...
You do.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are your boys now? Are they...
Teenagers, man.
Yeah. I was going to say, 13 something?
13 and 15.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah. See, that, like, I have a 5-year-old who acts 15.
That's the dance school.
And that's the dance school. That's the... that's the fact that my wife is one of 4 girls, but mate. It's all
your daughter's
slay king, go off queen, Swifty stuff, and I go, what was it? She said to me the other day, I brought her a toast, and then she was like, go off king,
go off king. That's awesome.
And I was like, I just brought you toast, like calm down, but also like, I don't know. She's given me so many dumb nicknames over the years. Mate, I was like, king was nice.
What I wouldn't give to be called king by my teenage boys. Mate, enjoy it. Yeah. Enjoy it while it lasts.
Go off king. But no, it's good. I'm excited.
Mate, yeah, well, so you should be. Mate, we are getting close to time. Before we go, though, so let's talk. Okay, she's 5. Then you got the other one. So when the younger one's 5, she's 10. Yep. 5 years from now, like, everything's broken your way. What are you working on? Because you can do at this point. You're working at a radio station.
Yep.
You can do, so you can cut, you can direct, you can write, you've got all these skills. If I go, money's no object. You've got creative carte blanche. You're just creating because you want to create.
Yep.
What format's it taking?
I think it's still taking me to film.
Yeah.
I think growing up and loving film, and like, it's just, I feel like it's I can't remember who, I was hearing someone talk the other day and they were like, it was Andrew Santino. Do you know Andrew Santino?
Yep.
So he was saying, like, in his career, he just wants to make like one TV show that's his TV show. And the person he was talking to was like, you make these 2 podcast shows every week that make millions of dollars. And he's like, yeah, but there's something about that medium of when we grew up that was like, I want like a primetime TV show or a movie.
I heard this interview and I think I had a similar reaction to you where I'm like, they were having 2 different conversations.
Yeah.
Because the guest he was talking to was saying, you make these millions of dollars, was looking at it from a business point of view.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was saying it from creatively what I want to put out into the
my
world.
Heart. Like, it's a thing that would mean the most to me.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Like, and it's all well and good. I'm sure he loves his podcasts, his shows, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But he's like, I want to make something that is like distinctively me and it's just me. So that's what I kind of want to do. I've got a big idea for a film, which I think if in 5 years, if we're talking like the thing I'd want to make, like that would be the thing I'd want to make. Kind of like a Muriel's Wedding cross Crackers. Do you remember Crackers? the Aussie movie about like a dysfunctional family at Christmas?
No, I think I missed that one.
It's early 90s.
Early night crackers. I'll look at
Crackers.
that.
Have a
'Cause I want to
squiz.
throw
Please.
one of my early. And while we're doing this, let's recommend some good Aussie
Yes.
movies.
Yes.
Mine for you. Do you remember Idiot Box?
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely love.
Brilliant. Ben Mendelsohn.
Mendelsohn, who I'm so glad is not finally, but I'm so glad is getting like that recognition because he's amazing in everything.
Yes.
Idiot Box is so good. I mean, Two Hands.
Yep.
It's almost an easy one now because of I think it's really popular on TikTok. Like people
Is
love
it?
it. Yeah.
Really?
Love it on TikTok. And like the Heath Ledger love, of course.
Yeah.
Like everybody gets around that. Mendelsohn again, Animal Kingdom.
Animal Kingdom's very good, yeah.
Brilliant. Another one is a couple of years old, but really underrated, I think, is Baby Teeth. Have you seen Baby Teeth?
Baby Teeth.
It's a girl who she's like got terminal cancer and she ends up like hanging out with like or starts dating like a lad, like a really like it's very good. But Mendelsohn plays her dad in it.
Right.
Baby Teeth. I'll leave that with you. It's
nice.
brilliant. But I think I like Mendelsohn.
Yeah.
Apparently.
So maybe he can play. Maybe he can be cast in this movie.
Oh my God, I would love. I'd probably cry. And yeah, I think he's like one of those ones where, you know, when they're like, because we've both met people in our line of work.
Yep.
Where you go, I fucking love them.
Yes.
They're amazing. But because you're in that line of work, you still have to go like try and be professional and not like fangirl it.
Yes.
In everything that I've done, the number one thing that I fangirled and I couldn't control it was Claudia Carvin.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh. And I feel like Mendo would be one like that.
Yeah.
Where I would just be like, Nash Edgerton as well, like
really?
the director, like, because he came to the Comedy Store one night when we were performing.
Really?
And I was just like, oh, I love Mr. In Between. And like, you could see him like glazing over, being like, great. But then like, I don't know, I could talk about it more than just like, I liked when he did the killing, like that sort of thing. Like I talked about it a bit more in depth, but still, like, this is just some guy just talking at me. But yeah, I always thought the Claudia Carver one was weird. Like I fully was just like, oh, you're amazing, and oh, you'll see, like I grew up on you, like stuff they don't want to hear.
It's funny who does hit you like that, like in terms of where you will be starstruck, unexpected. I remember, not this year, the year before, I was doing a gig in Melbourne with Daniel Connell. And he got off stage and he goes, is that Jane Alsop, second row? Constable, and he named her character from Blue Heelers. Because during lockdown they'd watched Blue Heelers.
Love that.
And it was her. And she couldn't have been nicer. We had a good chat with her after the show.
I'll give you one more, but I know we gotta wrap. Muriel's Wedding.
Yep.
So a couple of years ago, do you know the actor Steve Lamarquand? He played Shotgun Guy in Two Hands.
Yes.
Also, I just did that. I meant it was a shotgun. It was a shotgun.
Just keep doing it. You think,
it's quite high, actually.
You think Two Hands is big on TikTok? Wait till they see this.
That's more than two hands, man. So, no. Anyway, Steve Lamarquand, shoddy guy, on thing. I'm doing a podcast with him a couple of years ago. Like he was a guest on a rugby league podcast that I was doing.
Yep.
And he came on. He was a really good dude. And he goes, "Yeah, my wife's she's out, but you know she might be back soon. So if she comes home, whatever, she might just come in." And she comes in, and remember the start of Muriel's wedding, at the wedding when the husband cheats on the girl he just married with the bridesmaid?
Yeah.
And she like sucks his dick and leaves lipstick on his dick.
Yeah.
She was the bridesmaid. His wife was the bridesmaid. Oh. And I was like, you're Blubber from Think. Like, and it's like, she's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, I don't know why. I'm like, this is so obscure that I'm like, you're so good. Like, that's amazing. I'm like, oh, you're so funny. You're like, it's a movie from what, 94, and it was probably 2020 at this point.
Oh.
Something like that. Like when I was seeing, and I'm like a 30-year-old man being like, I love you, and the thing. You're like, calm down.
That's the thing. Those things hit you at an impressionable age. They're with you, and they're there, and you don't even know they're there.
Stay forever. Jane Alsop.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the character.
But I can't remember the character's name. Constable.
It's no Maggie Doyle. Maggie
No.
Doyle,
Oh, mate,
Lisa McCune.
She revealed that at one point she was playing she was part of the detectives, and she goes, I was 19. It's like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah. You don't realise like how young some of them are.
Mm.
Like they get in and like some of them that are still staples now are like only just like hitting 40.
Yeah.
And you're like, or like, maybe 40 to 50, and you're like, oh, you must have been on that at 20.
As a child.
And you're like, oh man, how did you were so good. I like you even more.
I don't know about you though. I remember a lot of those things like that. Like when people go, you find out some movie that in my head came out 3 days ago, and you go, oh yeah, it came out in 2009. I'm like,
what? Anything on, if I ever look at like IMDb and after the name of the movie, it'll have the year. Anything that still starts with 2, like 2000 and something, I go, oh, that's not that old.
No.
And then it takes me a second and I go, I was 21 years old. Yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
all right, okay. Or like, yeah, you know, American Pie is 99. What's that, 8 years ago or something like that? You're like, no, fucking 26 years ago or 25 years ago.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. All right, mate, we are at time.
Yes.
Tell me though, people want to see, one, I need to know where people can see the movie if
Yes.
they want to see the movie, and also where they can find you and see everything you're up to.
Absolutely. So follow me Instagram, Mitch Garling. I have a TikTok as well. I don't really use it that much.
Just use it to watch two hands?
Use it to watch two hands in 962 different parts.
Yep, nice.
At a time. A lot of them just collages or compilations of Heath Ledger and Rose Byrne being sexy as hell. But God, they were beautiful. Anyway, they still are, but you know what I mean. But well,
one of them more beautiful than the other.
Anyway, I didn't say it. I was trying to move past it. I was going to talk
the one
about.
who loves death.
Yeah, true. And I brought it up again. Anyway, good. But go over TikTok, have an Instagram, Mitch Garling. I've got Sydney Comedy Fest in a week and a half or something.
Oh,
2
nice.
weeks.
Plug your show. Sorry, I didn't even.
No, it's fine.
Didn't
It's
even
fine.
think to do.
Enmore Theatre Wine Bar.
Yep.
Love the room. Love
Yes.
that room. So nice. The little 2-story fella in the in the Enmore. May 2 and 3, I think it is.
Oh, lovely.
Just 2 shows. It's called Big Fat Loser, which is a play on The Biggest Loser, and the artwork is just a rip-off of The Biggest Loser, on account of losing a lot of weight in the last year or so, or 6 months. I think I'm at 55 now or something like that.
Holy shit.
Yeah, which is, I still don't know, like, I've still got that fat guy mentality, like, I'm still big, I know that, but like, I've still got the fat guy mentality of like, I check my shirt every 3 seconds, I go like, adjust it, and like making sure like I'm sitting well and things like that, but no, Comedy Fest is in, week and a bit, should be good.
This will come out, so when this comes out, this will be the
week off?
The Wednesday, the Wednesday before it comes out. So
Okay.
go see him this weekend.
This weekend, thank you so much. And one up, there will be a link. I'm going to put a link in my bio on my Instagram.
Excellent.
So that people can just click it.
If you want to send that link to me, I'll put it in the show description as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But yeah, I hope something comes from it a bit more, one up, whether it's the proof of concept or TV show or something like that. But it was such a fun film to make, and I love watching it and seeing the reactions. So it was good. But yeah, come along to Comedy Fest. That'd be good.
Mate, cannot recommend that highly enough. Go see Mitch. Thanks, mate.
Thank you, mate. Love it.
It was a great chat.
Great to see you. Great to see you. Been too long.